Hello and welcome to this Outcome Memories Silver Guide. In this video, I will teach you how to play silver as best as I know, and I will also tell you when you should not use him and why. Like the maps and stuff, of course. To tell you what he is good against and who he is not good against, like on what maps he's good and what killers or EXCs he's not good at. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Silver, he's right now one of the best survivors in Outcome Memories, in my opinion. But also quite hard, since if you're playing him for the first time, for like 3 games, you will probably not be that great. But when you get to know him and get to know how to use him, you will figure out and be able to completely dominate people with him. So Silver is, in my opinion, an aggressive support and a survivalist, since his kit is not built to be a sentinel like Sonic and Metal, where they are supposed to be the main guys stalling and the main guys stunning and stuff like that. They're ones supposed to tank hits. Since Silver has the following abilities: Rock Throw, Suspension, or a grab thing, and a time thingy. He also has Flight, which is basically his passive. So the 3 abilities are limited to the bar he has on the bottom right by his HP bar or under it. If it ever reaches 0, you will not be able to use your abilities. So you will still be able to use your abilities, but it will be in an instant gone, since the bar will decrease whenever you use your abilities and increase whenever you don't. So you will not be able to use your abilities like Rock Throw, Suspension, and the time thingy. Now I will explain what the abilities do one by one. So Rock Throw. Rock Throw is, in my opinion, quite an underwhelming ability, but it is the only ability that can stun the EXE in Silver's kit. By pressing the button to activate it, depending on where you're playing, like console and stuff, it'll be different, or where you have it binded to, but the ability will hold out a single rock, and if you press it 2 more times, it will hold out up to 3. So when a rock hits the killer slash EXE, it will stagger him, which will make him slow and not able to use his M1 or mouse 1 attack slash just normal attack. But if you hit all 3 of them, you will be able to stun the killer for like about a second or 2. I'm not so sure about that, but it's super short, so it's not that useful. The rocks and his suspension ability, which I'll get into later, can both go through walls, and the rocks follow physics, so they don't go in a straight line. They fall down with physics, of course. So you can play around that, going through walls. You gotta learn how to throw it. So like I've said, it's not a very good ability since it's super hard to hit the killer. It is hard to even throw them, since they follow physics, and it's not really that useful since the stun time is super low. But it can stall the killer for a bit, which is a bit useful. And whenever the rocks do go, you do use them up. You need to wait 15 seconds, about 15 seconds to use them again. But the other ability, Suspension or whatever the name is, it is the best ability out of his 3 that he has. We're not counting Flight in this. Since Silver shoots a small arrow that can go through walls, like I've said before, and if it hits the EXE slash the killer, it will hold them in place and drain Silver's bar slowly, and the killer will need to mash button, I'm not sure which button, probably like attack or something, to get out of it. This ability is super useful for stalling the killer or setting up your other survivors to hit the killer, since he will be standing still. Do watch out though, Colossus can still use counter. So unless you're some kind of god at mashing out, you are basically screwed from getting out or getting stunned of that suspension ability. So, like I've said, you can probably shoot it through walls. So maybe you can, if you're so good. I'm not that good, but if you're so good, you can probably shoot it through the wall and hit the killer too. And I also forgot to say you can throw the killer in any direction you want. It has also a cooldown of about 12 seconds, and throwing the killer is useful in quite a lot of situations, like throwing them off a high point so they need to go all the way around or climb. And you can throw them away from teammates or into teammates to stun, like into Knuckles maybe. But be aware, do not throw them into like teammates that are vulnerable, because they will not like it, of course. So his last ability is, for some reason, has a weird name, Time Thingy. It basically acts as like a reverse. When you press the button, you will start glowing and making noise and losing your bar. Whenever you're losing your bar until it reaches 0, or when you press the button again, you will then teleport back to the original location where you were. So you can use this to basically bait the killer to go after you, and you teleport back to where you just were. But obviously, some killers are going to be smart and not be, dumb, so they will wait. But Silver can just press the mouse 1 or attack button to stop the thing. It will still drain his bar, but the killer will still waste their times. So the killer, whenever you're using your rock ability or this time thingy ability, will see a blue outline through the wall where you are. That is one like counteractive thing about this, so he will know whenever you're using it. By if not, the audio wasn't giving it away already. So you can also combo this by flying, using it, falling down, reviving a teammate, and then using it to get back safely. You can also fly afterwards, so you can probably do a lot of techs with that. but uh, but the last thing, which is definitely the best, basically is passive or ability. I don't know what to call it. Is flight. So whenever you use flight, you will levitate in the air. If you don't know what flight means, you just go up in the air and levitate, and you will be able to go to places, and you go to like high places, and you will able to escape the killer, loop them, and or use flight with other abilities, so the killer doesn't see you or can't reach you, so you can safely throw rocks or safely shoot suspension. So this is just busted ability even after the nerf from 5 to 3.5 speed, I think, or whatever it was, or the bar drain. You are still able to loop the killer in almost every map. But of course, it does have a limit. You have a bar right by your character whenever you use it, and if that goes off, like to the bottom, it will basically make you unable to use it, and you are basically screwed if the killer is right by you. So now, what maps is Silver good on? Well, he is the best on 100% hide and seek or the cave map, since there are so many high points on the map. There is so many points where Silver can just fly to loop the killer, where the killer has to waste so much time getting back to you, and Colossus will struggle. Colossus, no, he will not have fun on that map. The other maps he is good on is Green Hill, since the Green Hill is another big map that they remade. It is 10 times bigger from what it was before, and you can fly over the water in the middle, fly out of the water in the middle, wasting the killer's time. He has a lot of high points you can fly to dodge the killer. It's not as good as the cavern, the cave cavern, whatever, hide and seek, but you can still use the killer. You can still use Silver very well. So another map he's good at is you can't run. Since you can't run, if we're ignoring all the hallways, you're not going to go into tight hallways as Silver, of course. I don't think any of us are that dumb now, are we? You will be able to just fly over onto the bridge, fly over onto the high points. There's different high points. They were all the tail spots were nerfed, but you still got all the other high points you can fly to, and the killer has to go all the way around or climb. It's definitely worse than the first two maps, but you can still make use out of it. Then we're going on to another good map, Angel Island, for him. Well, Angel Island technically only has one very good place, but it's still like almost an infinite loop if the killer doesn't know what they're doing, which is the hill place where the ring can spawn that is nearby the bridge that leads to nothing and the emerald. I will show the clip here. And you can basically fly up there. The killer can't do anything, has to go all the way around. You can jump down. If the killer jumps down, you can fly back up. It's just an infinite loop. You cannot do anything about it. It is basically unusable, like unreachable. You just cannot do anything. I can't express how easy it is to just loop killers with flight. I just cannot express how OP this ability is. Now, the one map where Silver is definitely not good at. It is 100% the last map, X's Castle. That is a maze of hallways where Silver can barely fly anywhere. The middle is barely useful for his flight since the killer can probably just counteract you. And the only place I know which is actually useful is the dead end place where Tails could fly up there in 0.1 and dodge 2011X. So Silver can just fly up there where the killer has to go all the way around and come back, and it's like continuous loop. You can do that, but how are you going to stay in that one location when your teammates need someone to like hold the guy in place, need their teammate to help them at least a little bit, support them? So it's gonna be very hard for you to do anything. In Colossus, he can just climb up there onto the dead end. 2011X, he can fly up there with his charge. And Tripwire, you can just set up mines at the top, so you can't get out, or at the bottom at the dead end. It is just not a good time for Silver. Now onto the killers. The worst killer, 100%, is Colossus. I cannot express how bad Colossus is against Silver. A flying survivor that has good recharge time on his flight, that can get out and stall him. His counter doesn't work against his abilities since they're all telekinesis. And his climb barely helps since whenever you climb up, he's just going to be gone. And he can just teleport back and stuff like that. Colossus is going to suffer. You should not play against a good Silver as Colossus. Do not, and I mean it, do not play Colossus. Now, the second best is definitely 2011X. 2011X can probably decently counteract him since of all the buffs he has gotten. He can teleport with God's Trickery to him. He can use Charge to get him out of the sky while he's flying. And invisibility is quite fast and quite useful, but of course, he still struggles against Silver, since Charge is the only decent way to get to him. All the other ones are Invisibility and God's Trickery take a while, or God's Trickery is a chance to get to him. And so that is all you can do as 2011X. Now, on to the best killer, which is Tripwire. She is the best one against him. She can glide, she can double jump, she can shoot a laser to shoot him out of the sky, and if you are shot out of the sky while flying, you will not be able to use flight for a little bit. So she can definitely get in a hit or two in there. So you can also use her other ability, which pulls Silver in and will make him take damage. It is decently hard to dodge it. And she also has mines, which she can place on high points or places where Silver usually goes to trap him and make him take damage, which is going to make him struggle. So if you see a Tripwire and you know she's good, Silver is going to be a tough one to play. Now, since we have talked about everything about the maps, the killers against silver, and all the other stuff we have talked about, now we can go to the last man standing. Now, the last man standing. His song, in my opinion, no hate, is the worst LMS song. Even the placeholders are probably better than Silver's song. Because for some reason, out of all the songs, it is the most quietest song. It does not fit Silver, in my opinion, and it's just a mesh of things. It's unfortunate the old LMS song got removed. But I mean, no disrespect, I do not like his LMS song. Go on to his abilities, how they're different in LMS. So we all know that every survivor gets something different, like one thing different about them in LMS. And the thing that Silver has by the wiki is, I'm pretty sure, and I think I've done it before, is that his teleportation, instead of when you press the button again, you need to wait like half or 1 second to teleport back to the original location. Now it'll be instantaneous. That is the only thing that is different, and I think that becomes very useful and decent. I mean, decently useful against the killers, but you just gotta always have a lookout when to use it or not to use it. And then he has the longest LMS, which is 4 minutes and 18 seconds, which is crazy. You need to live for quite a while. It will be very hard, but it depending on the map, of course, and the killer. If it's Colossus on hide and seek, you're guaranteed to win. There's easiest LMS ever. But if it's Colossus on X's castle, good luck. He probably left you for the LMS because he knows he'll destroy you. Now I have told you everything there is to know about him, so that is all I have to say. And my last thing to say on this is that he's super fun to play with. You just gotta learn him, and I enjoy throwing killers around everywhere. I love to throw them around everywhere and stall them. I love doing my criminal actions. And the killers, they just cannot punish me for my criminal actions against them. So now I have missed out two things, I think, and that is that do not shoot the arrow ability, which stalls him in place when he's already stunned. It will instantly break and waste the cooldown, and you'll have to wait 12 seconds for you to use it. You also cannot stagger him with rocks while he's stunned. You cannot add up to other stuns. And he is probably, I mean, besides like Sonic, the hardest one to learn, like I've already said. So do take into account that to learn him and learn him on all the maps, of course. He's also one of the only he is the only survivor that starts with 105 HP instead of 100. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but it allows him to tank 3 hits from Colossus, which is actually quite a feat. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed my little guide here that I have set out for you, and I hope you will like it. And I will be seeing you next time. See you later, alligators.